Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest instalment of my SlamBot ROS program. So you might have seen some of my other videos, but basically I've got to a point now with this which is where I was really aiming for. And to give you a brief overview of what that is, what I was trying to achieve was basically to be able to launch my custom robot into a simulated environment, to have Nav2 running, and for that environment to have some QR codes kind of on the walls dotted around the environment. And what I wanted to be able to achieve is that when you do the SLAM mapping part of the process, so when you build that initial map by teleoperating the robot around, I wanted you to be able to go up to the QR codes and read them, and a program to save the robot's coordinates right in front of each of those QR codes, and for those coordinates to then become waypoints, which get automatically sent to Nav2. So the robot can be launched into Nav2 and it immediately goes off finding these waypoints. So it's a little bit easier to kind of explain this if I just show you the environment first. So let's just launch this into just sim only. So the launch file SlamBot bring up sim only, and if we get gazebo launched, try and get it a bit bigger so we can see what's going on. So we can see our little robot here, and we've got this indoor environment. So we've got a car parked up. Don't know how that car got in there, but don't worry about that. And then you can see in the rooms we've got QR codes. So there's one there, 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 and there's one hiding away back there as well. And these QR codes are going to represent waypoints, as explained. So now what I thought would be really cool is if I've got to drive around this environment and map it with SLAM, wouldn't it be cool if whilst I'm mapping I can kind of kill two birds with one stone and pick up the QR codes and the robot's coordinates in front of them for the purpose of sending to the Nav2 program. So let's see that in action. So what we want to do is we're going to use another launch file, which is the sim with slam and qrcodes.launch.py. Now you see here I've got an argument slam type slam toolbox. That's because this program is built to, you can use ROS cartographer or slam toolbox for your slam mapping. The reason I've got both is for creating a really good map, I found cartographer to be better. For creating like a quick map, slam toolbox is slightly better. They're both on there. It's kind of down to preference, and actually a little bit down to the environment that you're mapping as well. But for this video, we'll launch it into Slam Toolbox because it's all just going to run a little bit quicker and a little bit smoother for us as well. So let's bring our viz over. Slam Toolbox is setting up as we speak. There we go. That's looking good. So we can see our camera down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive around. I'm going to drive around a bit and just read a couple of the QR codes. I'm not going to map everything because it'll take us too long and you'll get very bored watching me do that. But what we do, we just go into this first room here. Now as you can see, as we're driving around, as expected, the SLAM mapping is doing its job. And it's doing it quite nicely. You can see there's not a lot of odometry drift, which is good, and that's because this program also uses robot localization. So it's got an EKF node which is filtering the odometry readings. So we've got a QR code here, so I'm going to pull up to it slowly, and if you watch this terminal here, you will see confirmation that the QR code gets read and the robot's coordinates get saved. So let's just pull up to it, and in a moment, there we go. So you can see we've got waypoint 1 and we've got the pose details there as well. So let's back up and get out of this room. And what I just want to show you is I don't have to pick up the waypoints in order. So the next one I'm going to go to is actually going to be waypoint 6. The program that actually sends these waypoints to Nav2 as goal poses, which I'll show you in a moment, that handles ordering them for you. So don't worry about the order that you read them in. So if I just turn around here, you'll see there's another one on the wall here. And this is actually waypoint 6, this one. But as I say, it doesn't matter the order that we read them in. So let's just get nice and lined up to it. And again, watching that terminal on the right, and it's done it there for us. So yeah, waypoint 6 and the coordinates. So let's assume that I'd mapped the whole environment and I'd picked up the, I think there's 6 waypoints in this one. So let's assume I'd mapped it all, picked up my 6 waypoints. What there is also in this program is a nice little map saver node. So if I go ROS2 launch slambot/slam mapsaver.launch, and then I can create a map name. So let's just call this map for video, and if I hit enter, what that does is in my home directory, and it'll do it on yours as well, is it creates a Nav2 maps folder, and you can see it saves the map, the YAML and the PGM file. Now what I would do, assume this is a full map and I actually wanted to use it for Nav2, I could then copy those maps into, so in the program there's a slambot/slam directory, and I'd copy them into the maps subdirectory. But you can see I've already got a nicer map that I did with Cartographer saved there, so I'm not going to pull anything over here. Now the final cool thing that happens here is when I close this program, the QR code reader node that I built is going to save our waypoint positions. So let's close that. Let's come back to our home directory, and if I go down here, I should see I've now got a QRcodes coordinates.json file. If I open that, you can see we've got waypoint 1 that we read and waypoint 6. Now obviously we didn't read them all, but if you read them all, you'd see them all there. Now what I would then do is copy that into my program. So if I come up here and I go to the Slambot controllers package, you'll see a data subdirectory, and that's what it'll look like if you've gone around all of the waypoints, all of the QR codes. You can see here I did them in order, but you don't need to do them in order. The actual program that sends them to Nav2 will handle that for you. So speaking of which, let's have a look at that program. That is the QR code waypoint follower. There's quite a lot going on here. I'm not going to walk through it all, but what it's basically doing is picking up that JSON file, looping through it, picking up the waypoints, saving them as goal posers, and then sending them to Nav2 using the simple Commander API that they offer, and sending them as waypoints. So best really to see it in action. So what we're going to do now is launch Nav2 from this terminal, and I'll get the other bit ready. So that's ROS2 run slambot controllers QR code waypoint follower. So we'll launch Nav2. Let's bring it over here so we can see it. And there's nothing going on, and that's because our QR code waypoint follower node, that sets the initial pose of the robot, which you can see it's just done. Nav2 is active, all looking good. It's now looped through, picked up all the poses, and it's sending them to Nav2, which is really cool. So let's get Gazebo open so we can see it on Sim as well. Making its way to its first waypoint. I'll zoom in here a bit as well. So yeah, so this is it working in practice, and I've not had to manually put these coordinates in. I've just mapped the environment and visited each QR code whilst mapping, and then copied the file across. All of the rest has been done automatically, which is really cool. So excuse me. So it's visited its first waypoint. It's going to make its way to its next one, and perhaps we can drop an obstacle in its way here. So let's pop a cone there, just to demonstrate really what's amazing about Nav2 is its ability to respond to a dynamic environment. So it's spotted the cone in the local cost map, and it's just going to reroute, find a way around it to its next waypoint, which is waypoint 2. And yeah, you can play around with, I mean, I've found if you drop something too big in front of it at too late notice, it takes forever for Nav2 to work out a new path. But you can play around dropping things in front of it, see how good it is. I've had it sometimes route itself under this car to get where it needs to go. So it's pretty smart the way it handles stuff. So it's just read its second QR code, or it's just got to its second waypoint, and you can see it's routing its way now to the third waypoint, which is over here. And what I tried to do was tuck some of the waypoints into some sort of semi-awkward areas, really, to test Nav2. That one's in quite an awkward position, and then this one around here is as well. I won't sit here whilst it follows all of them because it'll take a while, but we'll let it get to this one and start its route to the next one, and then we'll call it a day. But you can see it's making its way around relatively quickly. And it should pick this one up out here, so it doesn't go too far into this one. There we go. And now it's going to make its way to that one. So yeah, as I say, I won't keep the video running much longer. But it's been a really fun build, this. There's been a lot involved, as you can see. If you clone the package, or if you go to my my GitHub, it's benmay100, and the repo is slambot. You'll see there's a lot going on here. If you go in the bring up package into the launch file, there's a launch file guide which tries to explain a little bit about how to use it. But yeah, there's the controllers. There's the whole description package with all the assets and meshes and things like that in. You've got then Gazebo and its own package, ROS localization, the Nav2 functionality, and the SLAM functionality. And in the SLAM functionality, you'll see that you've got SLAM toolbox and cartographer, and that little map saver thing that I built as well. So by all means, feel free to clone the code, get it onto your machine, have a play around with it, improve it, play around with the parameters for the Nav2. There's definitely improvements can be made to the Nav2 parameters to make it a little bit more robust. But yeah, enjoy.